Conversation, 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 conversation. Life's journey. Hey, conversation, 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 conversation. Let's talk about it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Conversations with Moji. And Conversation is a show where we get to express ourselves and, talk about our life's experiences. And today I have someone very close to us and dear to many of us in 88 Set. Is Kunle Awosika. We called him Skoro. I don't know if they still call him Skoro, but we're going to talk about that. So Kunle is a veteran in the information and communication technology industry, with more than 22 years of international working experience. In his current capacity at Microsoft, Kunle drives scale across multiple countries and leads a business segment that is delivering more than $500 million in revenue. Kunle is happily married and he lives in Kenya at the moment. He's happily married with kids. So Kunle, welcome to Conversations. And today it's all about you. So tell us, do they still call you Skoro?
Thank you very much, Moji, for the warm introduction. Yes, of course. There are certain people who still remember the name Skoro. So some of my close buddies will still call me Skoro. Skoro Junior, by the way.
Yeah, Skoro Junior.
Let me stand corrected. Skoro Junior as opposed to Skoro.
Yeah.
Yes. So, thank you.
Yeah, Kunle, the last most people got to know, knew about you was from Command. So after Command, we'd like to know your academic background. How has it been?
So thank you. Let me start by saying, after Command, I went off to top tutors for my JAMB preparation, and following that, got into Unilag in 1989, and from Unilag, it was all parties and playing and that whole experience of the Jambite, and I think I carried that through all the way to when I graduated. I graduated in 1994. Obviously, at that time there was a lot of strikes, and we were in and out of school. And originally we were supposed to have graduated in 93, but we graduated in 94, which wasn't too bad. Studied business administration, and thereafter I went to the UK for my master's at the University of Kiel, where I think that is where I really focused and spent, time in learning, and I think that's where the change started in me. So it's been like that. It's been from Unilag to the UK, university, as I mentioned, University of Kiel, so that's been my background really.
Okay. So any professional, certificates or something? Did you do any of those things?
No, not really. I don't have any professional certificates in terms of like in I've done all sorts of courses, different courses all over the place. But I wouldn't say there is any form of certification that I have received. It's more of learning, as a culture, is what I've been focused on, just generally learning and picking up stuff and training and learning and growing. but I actually think that, in my view, I think that certification is overrated. I believe that what you should focus on is the learning, and how that can help your development and growth.
Thank you for that. Thank you. So
Yeah.
yes, could you tell us, okay, now, I mean, from the introduction, I talked about you working with at Microsoft. And so just tell us a little bit about your work experience, your ethics, all about work now.
So listen, I started work for Microsoft about 21 years ago, thereabouts. And prior to that, I had also worked in 2 other organizations before Microsoft. The first was ExxonMobil, where I spent about a year. Then I forayed into technology, with a startup company called Solix Technologies at the time, between 1998 and 2000. I spent my time, really focused on the technology space. So that's where, the time of local area networks and wide area networks, was that season was when I got into the technology space. Then it led to what you called, I'm sure a lot of the people will remember, the Y2K, in 2000, and that was the time that I now joined Microsoft, around that period, and it's been an exciting experience, over the years. I've done all sorts of roles to the highest level, within Microsoft, which is I've been general manager. I've actually gone beyond that, now director within the company, within the Africa space, and leading multiple countries, in Africa and within the region, multi countries within the region. But more importantly is, I think the question that you've asked is, my work ethics and, how I apply myself to work. I think to answer that question, I will go back to the first day that I got into Microsoft, what it was that I remember that I was given the core values of the company, right? And that was engraved in my heart. And there are like 5 or 6 core areas or core values that the organization gave to us at the time, which I think I took to heart. I think the first is integrity and honesty, critical value that I think is required for business or professional work, right? You can't do anything or you can't go anywhere without that, right? Then the second thing was taking on big challenges, massive challenges, solving problems. I've had an opportunity to open new markets, thinking, going into, fresh markets. The countries like, Angola, the countries like Sudan, the countries, several countries within Africa where we've had to go into to engage and talk about the value of our technology. And there are all sorts of challenges and issues, government-related issues that you've had to address, and you're taking on those challenges and all. I think the third thing is being open and respectful to others, right? I think that's a phenomenal value. You have to be open, you have to be transparent, and you have to be respectful, for you to grow, right? In whatever area of your life, whatever you're doing, it doesn't matter whether it's work or life. I think it's really something that you need to adopt, and it will help you. The fourth thing is the passion for technology, the passion for technology, the passion for our customers, the passion for our partners was something that was really critical. So you can't do the job without having passion, right? There's just no way. You're not going to succeed. You're not going to go far. So that's another area, core value that has guided me. The fifth is being accountable. Being accountable. Being accountable is if I say I'm going to do something today, I say deliver that piece of work or proposal, in the next 24 hours. It has to be done. There are no excuses, right? I actually think that excuses are the tools of the incompetent, and those who use them are not wise, right? So being accountable is critical. Then I think the last thing is, for me, that has guided me is being self-critical. Okay. Because when you make a mistake, you need to basically say, I screwed up. Okay? I screwed up. I screwed up, and be big enough to say I screwed up, and be big enough to say I'm sorry. I think those are very powerful things that guide your work and your growth and your development. So those are some of the things that has helped me over the years. And I think it's not just over the years, they're still guiding me till today, as core values and guiding principles, as I grow.
That's interesting. I know the last thing you said was to say, I'm sorry. Coming from an African man, I'm like, oh, well. That's another day.
Are you saying that African men don't say I'm sorry?
Well, they have a way they say I'm sorry. Well, yeah. So, yeah, can you give me one highlight of your work, in your career?
Yeah. Listen, I would say one of the biggest highlights for me, in my career was the opportunity I had in 2015 to launch one of the global products that you and I use today in Kenya. Okay, and this product is Windows 10. A lot of you probably use it in your homes, in your businesses, and I had an opportunity to launch that product with our global CEO, Satya Nadella, who flew into Kenya, and it was all over the media, and we launched it in Kenya, and it was at the same time being launched in Europe, being launched in America, in New York, and all the different countries across the globe, and I had the opportunity to launch this product with him. I participated a lot in the planning and the execution of that, of course, with a group of very smart people, who contributed to this. And I feel very proud, that we successfully launched that product here in Kenya on an African soil. So this was the first time a global product in this organization was launched on an African soil, and I had a part to play, in that. So that was a proud moment for me.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, you did good. We are proud of you. Yeah, that's really commendable. When I saw that, I was like, wow, that's commendable. Yeah. So, Kunle, moving on. I mean, as you said, you used to party a lot and all of that. And I saw you somewhere at a gathering, and I was like surprised. I mean, this is a Christian gathering. What's Kunle Awosika doing, looking all ready for this word? I'm not sure. I don't even know if we talked that day, but I saw you from afar. I'm like, oh, that's Kunle, So tell me, how is Kunle now? I mean, did you completely move from being the party freak to just being a Christian boy?
Okay, how do I respond to that? I am still Kunle, the extroverted Kunle.
Okay.
Okay. At the center of me is an extroverted person, but also a lover of Christ. Okay. Who I see as my personal Lord and Savior, and I found him in 1997, and still till today, I think he's my arrowhead, and my guide. But I'm still very extroverted, still very engaging, still very alive with people, still love the party, still love the, engaging with people and all that. So I get my energy from people, right? And I was, yes, at one point in my life, I was always in the party, right? And going out every minute, and that I used to thirst for that. Today it's a bit of a different story. I still love people and still have energy with people, but I will say that my focus has changed, right? So I enjoy people being around me, and I love a good laugh. I love a good drink with my friends, and yeah. But I think the most important thing is that I haven't. I'm still the same guy who who has had different journey in his life and his Christian walk.
That's great. That's great.
I hope that answers your question.
Sure, yeah.
But I don't know this place that you said you saw me. You said you saw me.
Yeah, well, that would be okay. So, Kunle, how you've gone from the party, from the party freak, you've gone through too many things, so many things. So, of course, life is a bit different now. So, how can you tell us and give us an example of how you have celebrated or how you celebrate now?
Okay. So let me talk about one of the landmark moments, that I will say in my life where I think I really celebrated, and I celebrated it quite differently, was when I turned 40.
Okay.
This was something that really was a landmark moment for me, and I decided, to take a few of my friends, from a few of my friends in Nigeria. I was back then in Nigeria, into the prisons, okay, to celebrate my birthday at the time. So a number of guys, came with me to see the world of the prisons, so we went in there, and we organized where I served like 2,000 people with food, at the Kui prison. I gave them, the silver plates, embedded with my name, and gave them drinks and all that. So I used to go to the prisons then, just for different forms of intervention. It's such a challenging space in Nigeria. If you understand the Nigerian prison system, where they're, of course, they're underserved. There's no real reformation. There are many challenges and all. And I wanted to celebrate with these people. That was really what was going to make me feel happy. Wow. And fulfilled. So I went in there, and I wanted to take the who's who in society, right, into the prison, right? And I had lots of those guys. my friends, my cousins, my wife, everyone that could go with me, all went in there, and we had a party, in the prisons. We had a party there, with these guys. Of course, all of them knew me. They knew me very well, because I used to go there. So, with legal intervention, medical intervention, spiritual intervention, had we'd always go there with a group to engage, these guys. We even did what you call the talent hunts, hunting for talents within the prison.
Wow.
Trying to find guys, who have one skill or the other, whether you have a musical skill or you have an acting skill or whatever, or drama and all that. So we spent quite a bit of time then, and there are many stories about the prison that I can speak about, and we've been to different prisons in Nigeria. But that one I decided to celebrate with these guys in Ikui, which was very fulfilling for me. I mean, there was one of the very popular singers or artists right now, who I'm sure a lot of you guys know his music. He was in there as well, and we helped him come out, and yeah. So I would leave it as that, But it was a very fulfilling moment, for us.
I went to listen to the song because you accused me of not knowing the song, so I went to listen to the song.
Oh, you did? Okay. So
no, I know the song.
You know the song?
No, I know
that song. Yeah. Second.
And it's an old one, as my kids said.
Yes, yeah. Yes, and we helped that young man at the time get out, even before he became what he's become today, and it's exciting to see people grow.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, and that was quite fulfilling, and a landmark moment.
That's fantastic.
I think the most important thing is wherever you are, as long as you can have some social impact. It doesn't have to be the prisons. It could be, whatever. Having some form of social impact is always useful. Even what I'm doing today, in Nairobi, with society is also things that gives me fulfillment, in different ways. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Wow. That's really nice. Good to know. Yeah. So tell us, Kunle, how do you relax? I mean,
wow.
All of these things. How do you relax?
How do I relax? First of all, I'm a very active human being. Okay. I play squash. I'm an avid squash player, right? I play golf. I spend a lot of time on the golf course. I do philanthropy work. Okay, that excites me. Relaxing, like lying down on the bed and just sitting down, is not my way of relaxing, unfortunately. I'm not that type of person. I'm very activity driven. I like people around me. I'm always doing something. I'm always active. So I do a lot of exercise. That relaxes me. And maybe pre-COVID, traveling all over the world, to different places. I think I've probably gone to almost every country in Africa.
Wow.
Traveled Europe. I've traveled to the States, all over the States. And different places. So, I mean, that is quite relaxing as well, but it's also activity filled.
That's activity. Traveling is a lot.
It's a lot of activity. So I will say that I'm more I get my relaxation from action, type of thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Not necessarily from sleeping and resting and lying down.
So,
And there are some people who will just like to read books.
yes, some people read books.
Sit down and read a book cover to cover. I'm not that guy, because I'm more auditory and visual in
Okay.
my learning. Okay. But I won't sit down and read books from cover to cover. I'll probably relax by listening to books. So I do a lot of audible.
Okay.
The audible, you can read books, you can speed read books and get the information you need. Yeah.
Very true. So, any interesting place you've been since you like traveling? Any interesting place? Because I know that somewhere like Kenya is full of a lot of safaris. So, any interesting place? Any interesting thing?
Yeah, I think I've been to all sorts of places, Moji. Of course, Kenya is a beautiful tourist country where the whole world comes to. So it's they're about conservation and they're about the green. Even right now as I'm speaking to you, I'm looking at the green in front of me. Um, you know, and the interesting place I've been is the Masai Mara. Okay, so you might have heard of the Masai Mara, where you have the wildebeests, and it's called the Great Migration, right? It's a particular season of the year where the animals move, from Kenya all the way into Tanzania, and they are moving at such a high speed, and they migrate from one area to another. That site is beautiful in itself, and it's almost like a survival type of experience, where these wildebeest need to move quickly, or they'll get killed, right? So that's one thing that I've loved to do, and I've experienced. And then there's also Kilimanjaro, the mountains. There are all sorts of things. If you want to skydiving, actually my wife has done skydiving.
Really?
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
my wife jumped off a plane.
no.
Yeah, so exciting stuff. I haven't done it. She actually didn't even tell me that she was going to do it. She did it, then called me later to say, "Oh, by the way, I've just," but she said it was the most frightening experience of her life.
Frightening, yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
but it's good, but I'm not sure I will do it.
I'm not sure I can ever do that myself, but well, kudos to her. Yeah. So tell us, Kunle, can you give us some of your principles you live by, things that you have learned, on this journey of life?
Listen, I talked about my principles earlier, some of those principles and core values, but I will add to what I said earlier, around principles in maybe work, or I will call it the leadership principles, right? The leadership principles. I think in my view, there are three things,
Okay.
that's I think about. I think about the first thing is in work and in life is creating clarity. Okay. Creating clarity, as simple as it may sound, is one of the most powerful things. How do you create clarity? Is a very strong leadership principle. The second thing is, how do you generate energy? Okay. being able to generate energy. There are many people who are demotivated, are not even happy in the jobs that they're doing. How do you generate the energy as a leader, right? How do you make people, how do you influence others and generate the energy? Yeah, and I think it's critically vital, to do that. And the third thing for me is, how do you manufacture success? Okay, how do you manufacture success? Is another principle, because there will be people who will say it's not possible.
Mm-hmm.
In sales, I call it being a rainmaker. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult, it's challenging, oh, I can't do it, it's tough, it's blah, blah, blah. No, you can make it happen, right? It can happen. You can do it. So you're manufacturing the success, and all. So those are some of the principles I would say has guided me, as a leader, and trying to grow people and helping others succeed. Yeah.
How do you balance work and family?
Listen, you have to compartmentalize life, right? I think there is you have to know your priorities, right? I think family is extremely critical to our existence. I think the um whole family institution, is so critical, to what we do. And if you have a very strong foundation at home, then the business thrives. The business does well, or your professional work does well. Whatever you're doing, your endeavors do well. So I've always tried to prioritize that, and um, I'm very fortunate to have a wife who we work together as a team. She understands the fact that there's an economic side to every family, and there's a development side to every family, right? And there's also a spiritual side to every family, right? And we work together as a team, and I think from day one it was. My wife's a lawyer, by the way. She has a master's in law and all that. But we agreed that she would, I was doing a lot of traveling, like 60% of my time on the road. Um, my kids were young. I have 3 kids, taking care of those kids, and really there for them in their formative age. Right now my kids are in university, and all that. And um, I think we both try to invest the time, invest the time in if I'm around, I will go to my kids' school, I will go and meet their teachers, I will go and, review their work, and so on and so forth, and engage, So I'm not like a hands-off type of father. Um, I still try to understand their development. I may not necessarily get into the maths, English, because I really don't know those things. But but my wife is the one that knows all the maths and algebra and all those things that I used to fail so woefully at. But but if we're talking about encouraging people and developing the kid, and that's where I come in. So it's like we both know our strengths.
That's good. At least you're not going to the math area for the kids.
No. They will fail. I can assure you that that's what I can guarantee you, that they will fail.
That's interesting. Yeah. So what would be your message to us? To anyone watching you right now?
Yeah. Yeah, and thank you, Moji, for that. I think the big thing is really bringing your authentic self to whatever you do. Your authentic self. Don't try to be someone else. Don't try to be another person. Bring your authentic self to whatever you do, and that will be the best version of you. Okay. Um, be as vulnerable as you can, because I think vulnerability is the birthplace of innovation, creativity, and change.
Are you African?
Right?
I
And that's why I
believe.
said, yeah, that's why I said it's the birthplace of innovation, creativity, and change. I feel that you need to bring your authentic self to whatever you're doing, whether it's, whatever you're doing, whether you're an engineer or you're a business person, or it doesn't matter, or you're in medical, in the healthcare space, it doesn't matter, um, and um, and the last thing is, helping others succeed. How do you help others succeed? you know um, and I think we all have an opportunity. We're all very fortunate, people in life. Um, Went to school, most of us have university degrees or some form of degree or the other, um, and have some brains between our ears. And I would say that trying to help others succeed is something that we should all try to endeavor to do. From the lowest level, to wherever you find yourself in life, just being able to help others succeed and grow, I think is something that we should strive to do. You know, and yeah, so I'd leave it at that, Moji.
Now, the question I asked you before, and I think I should just ask you that question again. It has to do with the difference between Nigerians and some other African countries, especially Kenyans. Well, I have some Kenyan friends, and I see there's a difference. So tell me a little bit about that. Is there a difference?
Yeah, I think there's a difference. I think Nigerians, are known as very driven people and very aggressive people. Okay, we're known as that. We're known as, extremely aggressive. Some people even call us loud. Some people, say that, oh, you Nigerians are too loud and too aggressive and blah blah blah. I think on the Kenyan side, I think they're more docile. I will call them passive aggressive. Okay. Um, and they're not outwardly as aggressive as we are. They're passive aggressive. They will, you know, they would, if you're upsetting them or if you upset them, they will not say anything. They will just keep quiet, but they have it in their mind, in their heart. But for a Nigerian, if they upset you, you say "Akuri of Bini," and he will he will be aggressive with you and tell you his mind. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Tell you exactly what he feels at that moment. I'm stereotyping now. That's basically how Nigerians are. We almost wear our hats on our sleeves, right? And we're very, could be seen as confrontational, and as aggressive and all. So that's the way we're viewed, across the globe. But I also think that Nigeria is such an amazing country. We have amazing people doing amazing stuff in different parts of the world. We all know that. And we need to feel proud. We need to make sure that we're not being doused by what is going on, in the country. Of course, there are lots of challenges in Nigeria as of today, but it's only temporary. My firm belief is that it's going to evolve, and we're going to overcome this this current challenge that we're facing in the country. But we're still respected. I can tell you, we're still respected all across Africa. You know, there's the silent respect, but there's also an envy, but there's also the fear that you're going to come and take over, right?
Oh,
so it's a bit of a balance of you know, how you approach things and all that. Yeah.
yeah. Kunle, it's been fantastic having these conversations with you. You know, I'm really inspired. And one of the things I'm taking with me is, you know, you said something about, you know, clarity, which is something I'm taking with me. I mean, that really got to me. I like, oh yeah. And you need to define the things you do and why you do. You know, that's the way I'm putting it for myself. Thank you so much for your time. I've learned, as I said, and I'm sure that this will inspire many. This will inspire many. And congratulations on all your achievements. And I tell you, there's no stopping now. I'm sure you're going to do greater things.
Amen.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and thank you for inviting me on this platform. You're doing a great job. You know, I've seen that you've interviewed several people, very inspiring. You know, continue to do the great work that you're doing. I know that it's taken quite a while for us to connect, but I'm glad we've been able to eventually do it.
Yeah. Glad. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. Until my next guest. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.